What's good YouTube, and welcome to the house. OTS Pack 13 is a very interesting subject because it's going to kind of get choked out in how it's getting released, with certain areas not even able to still have locals, and the discussion of if things are even still going to be staying open. So when I look at collectibles like this, I think of ones kind of lost to time or ones that will get over pushed later, and I think more so that because the trail of these highly sought after cards aren't going to be hitting the quantities that people would be wanting, that it's more likely to spike over time, especially for a highly coveted card like Book of Moon and its ultimate rarity, and an extra deck somewhat staple. It ends up in almost every single format, it feels like, especially if you have access to rank 4s, Abyss Dweller. Can we point out how funny it is, though, that we have a new super rare Deep Sea Diva under $2, $169, nice, and we see that the original super is trying to hang in there around $110 for having less foiling on the water symbol. Really, though, it is a huge difference in how easy it is to get these, but the spike was somewhat recent, so it is inflated in recent history, and I expect that bubble to pop. Now, TCGPlayer versus eBay early on here, we're seeing Abyss Dweller actually have a bid on an auction higher than you could get it on TCGPlayer, of course using my link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra and supporting the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. But when it comes to stuff like this, that's what I'm talking about, quantities. It's early, people are looking around, they just want to secure one, and there's not gonna be that many to secure. Book of Moon is over 100 over on eBay, quickly 110, and it's settling out at $85 pretty fast here. Now, if we do see of this more in circulation, I could see Book kind of falling to 60, like, you know, Pot of Desires did, before it ends up spiking back up and people decide to invest in it. But right now, we're in the early stages, so we'll see where it falls out. I just think long-term, the stuttering of its release is definitely going to pan out in the market, that a lot of this will end up more expensive because of how it was distributed. Now, there's a sale over on GameStop. Surprise, you can't use code What'sGood5 over there, but it's $19 for boxes of Dual Overload with free shipping after a certain amount, if I recall. Free pickup at store with delivery, so you are able to go ahead and get that in, and free no hurry shipping with $35. I know it's not a sponsored post, can you believe it, for all those people saying I've been doing that too much lately? Anytime I see a deal, be it Walmart with Dude being the cheapest over there, or another website, I bring it to you guys generally. This is very close to the distro prices that vendors pay, $16.50, so Walmart's trying to clearance it out. Unfortunately, the deal you see on screen here does not stack, though. Speaking of this set, I feel like I have it pulled up somewhere. I got the right tab, look at me go, they're so far open today. Infinite Impermanence is chilling out a little, but not too much, but Verte Anaconda has my eyebrow raised. It continues to dip down over time, and while it matches its market price here, it was up towards 22, now it's down towards 20. It's like people don't see the big bad coming. Red Eyes Dragoon, he's on the horizon. He is going to be coming to the TCG, and you can bet people are going to want their copies of this. And while some people who decided to invest or get their copies early have secured theirs, it is alarming to see it continue to dip back down. Like, I'm glad, I want people to get a deal, but man, it's almost like people just don't see the monster right around the corner, and they're like, nah, it doesn't exist, I'll have my time, it's fine, and then they scramble and grab later when they didn't listen earlier. So get your Verte Anaconda sooner than later, something I'll commonly say, sooner than later, whenever it comes to a card I really feel like has the potential to go on up. Toon Table of Contents got bought out recently, and this is down $100 from when we last showed it, because it was listed at $800. Boy, somebody wants to make a deal. I just wanted to show a funny little snapshot here of what we do call half-assed buyouts. Whenever we go and look on eBay, yes, a lot of the other copies were bought out, but there is a PSA 10 Gem Mint graded one for $404 with the best offer available, and also a $600 PSA 10. Both at or under the price of these relisted ones. So like, you bought out all the other ones and you're like, nah, that Gem Mint one's too much. And then we see $250 for a PSA 9. So if you're actually in the market, I found these because I was talking to a friend, Kaiju Kev. He wants to start this series where he's thinking about max raritying a deck, and he was like, gosh dang, Toon Tables just got bought out, that's gonna be really hard to max rarity. I was like, Yeah, but hey, look, there's graded ones for cheaper. It's so funny to see those little pieces of people trying to set a new standard and they're not being copies yet. There's still PSA 10 copies available at almost half the price they tried to relist them at. Legendary Duelist Season 1 is coming. We got our first kind of looks into it. I've seen the Ultra Rares. I haven't seen the Secret Rares spoiled yet, but there's only 7 of them. And when it comes to the Ultra Rares with alternate coloring, I think they did a good job. Red Eyes Black Dragon finally has his full name in the TCG. And we don't have the singles up yet on TCGPlayer, but I wanted to take this moment as a little snapshot to see what was happening with the originals, because I don't think the fallout is going to be as big as people think it is. Right now, things are holding steady. Like, you know how when the Megatons used to start to head our ways and people wouldn't sell? That's what this feels like a little, but I don't think enough of this set is going to be open to truly just hammer the prices into the ground. While it's exciting that it's here, people don't want to miss out a second time. There's not a lot of this set, and we've been saying that a lot with manufacturing lately, and its MSRP is $15 per box, which you can get cheaper on YBM, I believe still. I'd have to go check with code What's Good 5 Smile. Look, there's the sellout. But these prices aren't just tanking immediately. While some are dipping under where they were, Toon Kingdom, of course, not getting a reprint, Crystal Bond's confirmed, yet it was bought out recently and is sticking up here. Now, I do see it falling down over time, even for its original version, but it's really hanging in there. Rainbow Overdragon was bought out recently to a point of 22 or 25. I laughed at that one, and we see listings as low as $10 already. But yeah, a ton of this is kind of sticking around near or where it was at, barely slashing prices, and we're looking forward. Mimicat, you know, that'll probably be Dragons of Legend also, right? Right, Dragons of Legend, just like Toon Kingdom. So, if you were looking for the original versions and hoping for them to fall out, I do think there will be some, but I don't think the fallout will be for very long. I don't think that it's going to bring as much as a coolant as we first hoped, and I would try to decide when I'm going to go in if I'm hunting down original versions versus the price falls that you will see, because I don't think a lot of them will be permanent, because it's not... When we talk reprints, usually it's in a set that's going to be widely open for other reasons than just the reprints, like Battles of Legend, right? This is a set that literally just smashes 2 sets together and threw some extra stuff in there. That's why it's not going to be opened as much. I should clarify that. So when it comes to us hoping for prices to be lower on the original, well, it suffers the same problem of not everybody's going to be after this. Those that are, yeah, they're chasing after cards instead of going for the singles a lot of the time. It's just not going to be enough copies to really dent it hard. It's going to go down, but again, not as much as I think most people hoped for at first. This is a conversation I've been bringing up, and people have been back and forth with me on this. Stardust Dragon Collector Rare, I've been saying, is lower than the Ghost Rare, and that's what caps its ceiling. And people are like, I think it's one of the good investments. It's one of the cards I like. It looks really good, and this is why I say it. The Ghost Rare Unlimiteds are at $290 to $300, and this is a more recent buyout. So this is inflated. As you can see, the market price is $160, and we see actually a German near mint at $230 here, and I think it looks pretty good actually. Oops, wrong button. Let me check in on this. I don't see any scratches through the sleeves. It looks really good, and we have it being unlimited, of course, but when we look at the first sets, that gap is huge, so people might be like, well, you know, first set is the true highest rarity. People still revere Ghost Rare. We're seeing Ghost Rare buyout after price climb after buyout, and it's going to keep the ceiling, I feel like, over the Collector Rare, even the first edition that's going to have an extremely small run, which we do know the EU, if you didn't see my video yesterday, is getting Toon Chaos Unlimited. But look here, Black Rose similarly up towards 300, and the first edition's I think near 1,000 for near mint, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 994, and then almost 1,000, and then 1,500. So while these are more recent repushes into these cards, the Stardust itself has this ceiling above even the first ed Collector Rare, I feel like, for the Unlimited. But let me know what you think down below. Do you think Collector Rare actually can surpass? I know the old adages of, oh, I can't see the card art, I don't like Ghost Rares that much, they scratch easily. The market, I think, has far disproven those voices, and then a lot of people, you know, can say the same thing about Collector Rare. It looks like fingerprint to the rarity. It doesn't look that good. I think it looks pretty good also, and I think there's a reason why the prices are so high. Besides just scarcity, it looks pretty darn good. Now, I do think things that are argued for their highest rarity, like BLS, have the highest ceiling. Things that you grab in playsets, like Pot of Extravagance, pretty good. Chaos Space getting a buyout here, actually, very, just in the last couple of days for its collector rare. Again, people want to max out their competitive decks more so than their collection usually, because people that buy in are usually investing to flip. So like the true collectors, let me know how many people are actually going to be collecting one of every collector rare, not as an investment, but for themselves to keep. I'd like to hear that ratio, versus if you are getting them because you think they're stonks. And then we still have that lower end actually starting to slowly head up. Again, I wonder how the lower end collector rares will do versus an unlimited wave, and gosh, I hope it brings some coolant to the singles and does come to the USA. Another Dragonmaid buyout. Really, another one. I understand Shu Ping had something to do with this one. Dragonmaid Hospitality, the super rare, just because Mystic Fighters is already a more expensive set, so estimated value pull is, you know, whenever you're looking for value in the set, it's bound to skyrocket a bit. The generator's holding some value still, but yeah, $10 for another Dragonmaid card. I can't believe you people out here. To be fair, it's actually one of the better ones. And I wanted to go back over the ban list hype and what happened in the fallout. This ban list was very minimalistic, but I think it shows a little glimpse into the oversaturation of ban list investing. And I know I've been going way more into theory this market watch. A ton of you guys have given feedback that you like that, and I enjoyed digging time into that. When we look at all the fallouts, well, they were immediate and pretty fast. Ritual Beast, for the most part, besides Ulti Gaia Pelio, has all fallen out as well. This was a pretty good call if you had the ultra rares and not just the ultis. And now the ultis are spiking even further because of that. But the rest of this Kanahawk, how many people were set up for this one? How many people were ready, and how many people actually want to play it versus the oversaturation of people ready to sell them? The answer was quite a lot, and we see this so cheap out the gate. I don't think we've ever seen a ban list fall out this fast like this, even though it was minimal. And with Necros, they were bought out before the list. We see Brionic actually chilling. He's under 60. We see Trishula under 30 still. Valk not even budging because we're looking at Dragma ahead, right? But even the ultra rares are going down right now. So if I did have a suggestion, I would say to get Necros, of course, using that link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. I would start to look at Necros because the fact they're chilling out versus their recent buyouts back to where they were, but Dragma's on the horizon, and a lot of people do have the consensus that this is how you would want to play Dragma, will probably rehype these just a little bit. And Secret Unicorn, wow, under market price. The Ultra back to $1. This was just a ton of people being ready this time, and while this is a less predictable ban list, it was very small, and the cards themselves around it were not the biggest value. So this is kind of a peek into what happens when people are over-prepared. I bring this example a lot, but Magician of Faith, whenever it got peeled off the ban list, it was at $80, $90. And it fell to 30 to 40 because so many people were ready for it to peel off the list. Then GOAT format actually slurped it back up off the market. When people are over-prepared on a single card, this can happen. So do be careful how much you actually put into the ban list market, because think about your sales rates, think about trying to sell into the hype, and then think about, well, what's actually going to happen after the feeding frenzy, and can my quantity actually get out during the feeding frenzy. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the more general conversations and kind of looks. And again, check out GameStop's sale over here. Definitely not one of the worst ones at all.